What's going on, people? So as you see here, yet another box from Concepts. I tell you, like, if you don't know about them or whatever, I get it, right? But I will say they're totally worth checking out because they often have really good prices on. They don't always have the widest selection of things in their, at least in their little sale category or whatever, or their discount category. But the stuff they do have in there is often things like this, where it's something that you may have wanted a while ago and it just kind of sold out everywhere. Not like immediately, but over time, everything sells out. So you see it on there and you're like, oh, look at that. It's one of those things I wanted from a while ago. And for like half the price. So then you buy it, right? Like those New Balances that I bought, those trail ones, or this, right? These are pretty much 50% off. Because if I remember right, retail was $180 and I paid $90, so not bad. Now let's go ahead and get this box out of here. Get that paper down there, that's fine. All right, so side of the box for you real quick. There you have that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention because I don't have my mind in the game, I suppose. I'm wearing a Sneaker Hearts shirt because I'm going to be opening a Sneaker Hearts thing in a little while here. You know, I like to make the shirt match somewhat with the videos. At least one of the videos that I shoot for the day. Anyways, here's the thing, right? If you have been paying attention long enough, you know who they are, so I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I will tell you, they're out there, they're doing some good things in the sneaker part of the world for the youths of the Chicago area and some of the youths from across the world, because I've seen them work with people in like Africa and across the country, all kinds of stuff, right? And if you like doing good things, which you should, you're more than welcome to get involved with them one way or another. I mean, you don't have to pick one way. You can pick all the ways. Don't get me wrong. Don't limit yourself, people. Get out there, do everything that you can. And help them help other people. And then you'll feel good about yourself because, hey, why wouldn't you? Unless you're like, a terrible person, which I hope you're not. But there's only one way to find out. So, there you go. Links will be down in the description as they always are. So, use them. Now, here we have this. This is a weird shape. I tell you, that's my first opinion of this. Like, you caught the real deal there, people. Yep. So this is the 9118 EQT, right? Yeah, EQT Support 9118. So here's the thing, right? I was doing a little bit of research on these things, just trying to find out, like, because I had remember, like, years ago, well, 2017, buying a pair of the 9317s, and I was like, I wonder what the difference is. And I did a quick search, you know what I mean, to pull up some of that information, and I was looking through forums, didn't really see much to go by. I saw a couple of videos and stuff, but truth be told, I don't watch videos of shoes unless it's like a friend of mine or a peer of mine or whatever you want to say. I watch theirs, you know what I'm saying? But past that, no. Because I deal with enough videos as is. I don't want to watch any. I don't know, it's just me. But anyway, so I skipped over that. But the one thing I saw was that it seems to be that the 9118s are a shoe that came out or something, or was modeled in 91, redone in 2018. And I guess the 9317s were something from 93 redone in 2017. I don't know, something to that effect is what some random person somewhere on the internet said, and now I am just some random person somewhere on the internet saying it again. But if you happen to have some real information to go by, go ahead and leave that down in the comments below, and you can be another random person on the internet putting information out there. But that being that, let's go ahead and move on. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now review time on this right here, the Adidas EQT Support 9118 in some kind of black and greenish colorway. We'll just go with that because I honestly don't know the exact colors. Didn't look them up, didn't care that much. So let's go ahead and knock this thing out, starting with the bottom. So down there, what you're going to be looking at is an outsole that reminds me of some other Adidas Boost shoes I've seen in the past, perhaps the Night Jogger, I'm not quite sure. Either way, nothing much going on down there. You got the Boost peeking through, got a little bit of black, a little bit of green, well actually got a lot of black, and then you got some words down there at the bottom telling you kind of what you're looking at. So there's that for you. Moving on up here to the midsole, You got the standard boost midsole here. This is before they were really coloring things in, I suppose. So it's feeling pretty chunky, so that's kind of a cool thing. You look on the back there, it does have that same chunky style that you see on like the night joggers and stuff like that. And then around here, just above the midsole, you got the like heel counter type area and that block that you would have on the outside of NMDs. I forget what the function of that is. And then on the inside, you got the same thing, and those are kind of in like a tannish sort of color. One thing I didn't mention, on the outside of the shoe, in the midsole, you do have the 3 stripes. So that I didn't notice because I was looking at the other side of the shoe. That's why you gotta look at the whole thing, people. But anyways, moving past that, onto the upper here, you've got this little prime knit thing going, which feels to the touch very thick. I'm not sure what it is with that, it just feels very thick. But basically, all in all, it's pretty much just like a gray color. Got a little bit of white striping on the inner side, the medial side, as some people like to call it. And as I mentioned before, maybe I didn't, there right under where the laces are and all that stuff, you do have the labeling going on in there saying EQT91/18. So there's that. Now we're just going to step back just a little bit to this middle area. You've got this big squared off sort of thing going on with some black suede. And then within that, you've got just the standard plasticky Adidas logo. Kind of feels like a thicker version of what you might remember from the, like, say, like an Ultra Boost 3.0 or 4.0. Just feels a little thicker here. And so you got that, it's like a white and green. And that is holding down, well, it's more of an off-white, because it's holding down some actual white laces. And behind that, where the tongue area is, you got more of that prime knit, and this time it's white with that equipment Adidas ADV 9118 at the top. So I've seen that on some, I've seen EQT on some. I don't know. I guess they just do whatever they want to do. I'm sure it makes sense in some kind of rhyme or reason, but whatever. Moving on to the back, you've got some very nice feeling leather sort of material going on back where your heel would be. And then above that, on the very back end, you've got what looks to be a bit of silver for possibly some 3M hits in there. I'll figure that out later. And above that with this sock liner, which I didn't quite notice, but it's more like that booty style, kind of like those 9s I just had out. So you've got this thing going on, and that feels very thick on the outside. I'm wondering how these will feel when I actually wear them, because it looks like some comfortable materials, but you can only tell so much by just looking at something. Anyways, that's green with some white stripes, minus the very back where you've got some sort of orange strip going down for whatever reason. There's no orange anywhere else. Maybe they just wanted something to stand out. And so now let's go ahead and move on to the sock liner and stuff. Like I was saying, it's pretty much just your white inside on there. Even behind that where the actual shoe is, or the outer area of the shoe, it's very much all the same, with a little bit of neoprene down there behind the tongue. And then looking down on into the inside on the insole, equipment Adidas ADV 9118, just like it said out on the tongue, but different coloring. So there's that for you. And now that we've done that, I suppose the next thing to do would be to put these things on and see what they feel like, because I have no idea. This is the first pair of these that I've ever had, minus those 93 17s, but I didn't care for, I didn't care for the price I paid, so I sent them back. They felt really good though. But that doesn't matter, these matter. So I'm gonna go and put these on real quick and walk around and stuff, and I'll hit you guys with my thoughts in a minute. Okay, and so now I'm back, got these tried on, and I'm gonna let you know how I feel, right? A little bit of an honest review, because they always are. So here's the thing, right? Sizing wise first, why not? I bought these in a 9.5. That seems to be what works for me on pretty much everything, right? Boost, non-boost, Air Maxes and stuff. And these feel exactly fit-wise like I expected them to feel. So I am going to say that if you find a pair of these and you're thinking about getting them, I'd go true to size. That's what would work for me. Well, that's what did work for me. So there you go, there's that. But how do they feel though? That's a good question. Glad you asked. So the way I'm looking at these, right, I walked around in these for a little bit, did a quick comparison to the NMD, not the NMD because that thing's terrible, with the Night Jogger, and these definitely feel a lot better. I thought they might feel similar because they have a similar construction, but no, these have a bit more boost in them, so you're going to have some very nice cushioning in the heel especially, so that's good. felt way better than those night joggers all in all, even though they do look like they feel about the same. So then I put on a pair of Ultra Boost 4.0s because that's fairly similar. And I gotta say that these, it's kind of a toss-up there. It depends on what you're into. Midsole wise, right, the Boost on here, it's more cushiony in my opinion, so these won for that. However, the shoe overall has a lot more stuff going on in it, right? So this upper, as you saw, there's a lot of extra materials. It really locks your foot in, so that's cool. They do have an extra little bit of added weight, so you don't have that freeness that you have in that sock-like style of the 4. So you gotta figure out which one matters to you, because that's what it's going to depend on. Do you want a more fluid movement in your upper, or do you want more cushioning down onto your foot, right? I will say though, if you're going to want a little example of where this might come in handy, if you're kind of like a gym person and you're doing some exercise that involve like some lateral type movements, that's side to side, right? Either way, if you're doing that kind of thing, something like this versus like an Ultra Boost, you're probably going to want this more than that. So that's something to consider. But overall, it's going to come down to what you think is most important. But I will say, for $90, can't go wrong. And I think that kind of sums up everything. I know I didn't give you really like a solid answer on if this is the best thing out there. But again, sometimes there's an extra question that you have to get an answer to before you can answer the other questions. So it happens from time to time. If you don't believe me, watch the video again because it just happened right before your eyes. Now, we're good, right? Talked about everything, did my little Sneaker Hearts plug in the beginning, but I didn't do the one at the end, did I? So, Sneaker Hearts, right? Good people out there doing good things, and you can be one of those good people helping them do the good things if you follow those links down below and get in where you fit in, as they say. So, let me know how that works out for you. I'll tell you how it worked out for me. Great. So, there's that for you. All right, now we're good. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up and shoot that one last video, get some on feet knocked out, and maybe do some other stuff today. We'll see what happens. Later, people.